What if you could mentally shift out of whatever current situation you're in into a completely new reality like that if you simply do what I share with you in this video? Now, back in 2012, this is when I learned about this technique. Then I applied it in 2017, completely shifted my reality. And now in 2023, I'm using this same technique in my own life. And this little mental shift shifts everything. So first off, back in 2012, I was feeling stuck. I was a mediocre sales employee working a commission job selling women's shoes. Some of you know the story if you've been watching my videos. But there was this realization that I had with the familiar energy that I was in, where I could very clearly see that I was in familiar childhood dynamics that I was priorly unconscious of. Like literally, I had a belief that life is unfair when I was a kid because I had like no freedom growing up, and I had somebody that was controlling like every aspect of my life, and I kind of had to tiptoe around them. And then here I am at this 9-to-5 job in the same safe and familiar territory, tiptoeing around a manager that was just like somewhat my ex-stepmom, and life wasn't fair because literally she was protected by upper management. I was a mediocre sales employee, right at the, I would say like not the top sales employee, not the bottom sales employee, right in the middle. And what happened is there was this feeling of being stuck, a feeling of being kind of in Groundhog's Day. I was thinking same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, doing the same things day in, day out. I intellectually knew a lot of the things I'm about to share with you, but I didn't do this one thing. I had like done and watched a lot of YouTube videos or read a lot of books, but I felt frustrated with myself because like, why do I feel like I can't make headway? Why do I feel stuck? And then I probably just one thing that completely shifted everything. And then I've been able to now look back and see that in 2012, 2017, 2023, this year, this is the thing that is shifting everything for me. And I believe that if you use it in your life, you will completely shift to a new reality, to a new version of yourself. Now, first off, understand that in your reality, why this is not about just mentally shifting. I know it's mentally shift to a new reality, but it's more so energetically shift to a new reality. Now, let me share with you that one insight back in 2012 that changed everything. And it had to do with understanding my beliefs about my identity, my beliefs about who I was being. Now, I had priorly read a book that's not a more metaphysical book necessarily, but it's called Psycho-Cybernetics. This book is all about what is called the inner self-image, how we have an inner self-image that we project onto other people, onto the world, and how we will do anything we can to remain consistent to whatever that inner self-image is. So what happens is unless we become aware of it, we stay trapped in that version of ourselves. This is why, by the way, when people like do New Year's resolutions, they're like, I'm gonna change and become a new me. New year, new me, who dis? Or whatever they say, like new year, new me, whatever. And then they go and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym every day. I'm doing it. They go to the gym once, they go to the gym twice, and then they don't go anymore. They go once, then they go maybe the second day, and then they wait like 4 days and they go again, they wait like a week and they go again. And it's like, why is it so hard to shift into that one little habit? Well, the reason being is they see themselves, their inner self-image is that they aren't a gym goer. They're doing this action, not because doing this action is who they are, doing this action because it will get them something they want. I will lose 10 pounds. I'll feel more in shape. You must not just do it to get a certain result. You must take on and believe this is who you are now. That's when this identity shifting is so powerful. So let me share with you how I use this. 2012, working that 9-to-5 job, I read that book, Psycho-Cybernetics, with everything I just shared with you, and I realized this is honestly going to be something you can apply towards any area of your life. You can apply this towards, when I became a full-time YouTuber, you can apply this towards anything. It's the way you reverse engineer your future self to be it now. And if I could summarize all my teachings over the last 5 years, this would be it right here. So I was in 2012. Now, I'd go into work every day and I was recognizing what my inner self-image is because I just read the book. And I realized my inner self-image, you gotta be really honest with yourself on this. First off, the obvious, I'm working a 9-to-5 job, so obviously my self-image was I must work a 9-to-5 job or I'm a 9-to-5 job goer. But then what I realized is my self-image was I am a mediocre average sales employee. And the thing was with this sales job selling women's shoes, you only got paid a commission on whatever you sold. And I noticed that the people were at the top of the list. It's not like when you go in every day, you have a list from the people from the day before of who sold the most to who sold the least. You could even see people that didn't sell much at all. And it was a constant reflection because if you wanted to know where you were in comparison to other people, because if your numbers got too low, you'd literally get fired. So you kind of had to know where you were at, but you were constantly comparing yourself to your coworkers. I noticed that the people at the top of the list were consistently at the top of the list. The people that were at the bottom of the list were pretty much consistently at the bottom of the list. I was always right in the middle. I'm like, oh, I have an average self-image of myself of being an average sales employee. So I thought to myself, what is my inner self-image? Well, I realized I'm an average employee. I'm not the top sales employee, but I'm also not the bottom. I never really had to worry too much about my job, but at the same time, I was always kind of right in the middle. But then I realized this. How was I thinking, feeling, and acting equal to that average sales employee? And I realized that what I was doing was kind of an autopilot. I was, some of this is gonna sound corny, by the way, but basically I'd realized that I would kind of greet certain customers I thought that would buy, and I would kind of because if you get caught with a customer that's not gonna buy, and you don't make any money, you kind of waste your time in a way, because of commission. But what I realized is I was not greeting every customer. I was, in a way, being more selective. I realized that I wasn't bringing out extra shoes. So if they asked for a shoe, I just bring out that one shoe. Where I realized the top salespeople have the courage to show other options, to show other things. They go above and beyond. So what I did is I started to energetically tune to the version of me that was a top sales employee. I started asking myself, what does the top selling version of Aaron think, feel, and act? How is that version of me being? And guess what I realized? It was very different than the mediocre version of Aaron. The sales version of me that was just average. Here's some of the differences. Let me show you some of the differences, because this is the difference between a completely new reality to the old reality. The top selling version of Aaron, you want to know what I realized about myself? I greeted every customer. I just used my imagination for this. And I also could model and look at the other people that were the top salespeople. They had very positive mental attitudes. They're very positive when they talk to people. And I realized, I also realized they were very much themselves. They showed their personality. So I started asking myself, how can I more so show my personality? How can would I greet selective customers I thought were gonna buy? Or do I greet every customer? So what I started doing is greeting every customer, whether I thought they would buy or not. I started showing more of my personality because I realized that version of me had a personality that was more fun and just having fun. Because that was who I really am. I didn't have to put on a front I am wearing a suit and I will help you with shoes. And then what I realized is this stupid little thing I would do. I would go above and beyond for customers. They'd ask for one shoe, I'd bring out 3 others I thought they would like and maybe something else random, and I would show them with excitement. And then what I would do is even after I sold them the shoe, I'd put it in the bag, I would wrap tissue in the bag over the box. And then I'd bring it around, that's what we had to do, bring it around the counter and give them the bag, because it's better than you're never supposed to hand the bag over the counter. I'd bring it around to them and with appreciation say thank you, and their bag had that tissue over it. Now here's the thing, putting the tissue over the shoes, you might say it's for them. I was doing it because now they're gonna come back to me and they're gonna want me to help them because I'm going above and beyond. And the thing is no other sales employee I worked with would do that little tissue thing. It's stupid, I know. But you wanna know what it did for me? For me, it changed my own self-image, and I was like, I do this because I go above and beyond. I do this because I'm a top salesperson and I do things differently. That little action also was not a means to an end. I was not doing it to get a specific result. It was an end of itself. This is who I am. Now, then within days of doing this different energy, I was consistently at the top of that list. And if I wasn't at the top, I was like 2 or 3, not like 7 or 8 in the middle of this 13-person list. Consistently, it began to shift. Because I shifted, I mentally shifted into a new version of myself. Then from that point, I still worked a 9-to-5 job until I kind of woke up in 2017, February 2017, and realized my mental self-image is that I am an average sales employee. But not only that, I'm an employee. And I started realizing the version of me in 2017 that I prefer to be is a full-time YouTuber. What does the full-time YouTuber Aaron act differently than the 9-to-5 job going Aaron? And what I realized is, once again, they're very different. The 9-to-5 job going to Aaron complains about work, goes into work, plays according to the game, has people tell me what to do. Even though I didn't like it, it still was a part of the reality. There was safety. Safe and familiar came with that, a predictable paycheck every week, because we got paid weekly there. Then I start making the videos, and what happened is that became my dominant reality. Once again, I started believing that this is who I am at a deeper level, and I realized that version of me made daily videos, so I started making daily videos. I realized that version of me knew how to edit, so I learned editing. That version of me did not give up the moment something happened, where it's like, oh, it's harder to make a video because I'm still working 40 hours a week at this 9-to-5 job, and I'm making videos 20 hours a week. I was very busy. But this 20 hours a week of making videos became my dominant vibration and overtook the 9-to-5 job of 40 hours a week, double the amount of hours, because the vibration was higher. I was more passionate about it. But I used the same philosophy to reverse engineer that version of me. I literally became it. Now, in every moment, you are making a choice about who you are being. And what I want to start asking you is, what is your beliefs about who you are? What are your stories? Another word for belief is stories. What are the dominant stories in your life? And are they familiar and safe because they are been on autopilot since childhood? And can you claim and take back the power you may be given away to a 9-to-5 job? You have to make a new choice about who you are. You have to be the one to do it. I know for myself, for a long time, I was waiting for everything else to happen. I was waiting for someone to put me on. And it just never came until I believed it in myself, which is a funny thing because people feel what you feel about you. So if I wanted people to believe in me, I would have to believe in myself. And I remember going around and looking for the when I started on YouTube, within 2 or 3 months, I was feeling kind of new with it. I'd go around and see people, and I'd feel kind of like, am I safe? Are they judging me? What do my family and friends think about the videos I'm making? I had a weaker frame. But then I started standing in my own frame, and the more I did it, the more, yes, there was some external reflection there that began to shift, but I realized the more I would claim it within myself and hold my frame, the more that became my dominant reality. So if you want to mentally shift into a new you, what it all really comes down to is your belief about who you are at the identity level, the choice to shift it into a new you, and then you giving yourself permission to literally be it. Literally, I decided I am a full-time YouTuber now. Not once I make 100 videos, once I have 100,000 subs, once I make this money per month. This is me now. I just took it on. The way people think reality works is you must first do it, then you can have it, then you can be it. You must first be it. Just make the choices who you are. This might sound airy-fairy. You might be like, Aaron, I could just decide I'm a world-class athlete or something. But you can. Doesn't mean that you're attached to the outcome, that you're like, I'm a world-class athlete, and then you walk into an arena like LeBron James, and you're like, not everyone's cheering for me. Aaron, you said you could shift like this, but I did it, and I didn't shift like that. You want to think, what are the micro adjustments you can make within your life to see yourself as that version of you? We all have an inner athlete inside of us. We all have the ability to be an amazing speaker. We have the ability inside of us. It's just, are we going to give ourselves permission to unlock it? To be it? And the more permission you give yourself, the more your life begins to shift. So if there's one thing that shifts your life more than anything else, let it be, what is my inner self-image? How do I see myself, and what is more in alignment with my passion and my purpose? How can I give myself permission to shift into that version of myself and not let all the blocks come up? Perfectionism, procrastination, imposter syndrome, all these ego preservation mechanisms that are trying to keep you safe. But remember, this is not just mentally from the thought realm of doing this. This is your beliefs about who you are and shifting the way you're showing up in life. What are your values? I value, when I work a 9-to-5 job, someone else telling me what to do, whether I know it or not. Why? Because my actions reflect that. I go to work every day. But when I started valuing my own willpower, my own ability to focus on my own vision, the commitment to it, as I started to value that, it changed my self-image. People would ask me all the time, how do you make daily videos, Aaron? I had no idea. I just was being it. I was like, I'm looking back, I'm like, I don't know, I just make daily videos because it's who I am. And anything you do repetitively gets easier over time. Me making videos, I used to make videos every day for years. Then I made a video like 5 times a week, then 3 times a week, then once a week. Now I'm shifting my identity back into me making more videos because I realize I love it when I'm not doing it as an means to an end. When I'm not doing it to get views. If I'm doing it because I love it, very different energy. You could feel that in my energy. And I'm allowing myself to express myself more every day. Here's the crazy thing. Making daily videos is so much easier for me than making a weekly video. Makes no sense, but it's true. Because what I do consistently over time, think about my energetic field right now. I'm in this channeled state of making this video. I don't really plan much out except for I do write on the whiteboard. I know. Isn't it pretty? I'm gonna put this on your fridge so everyone can see it. Yay. However, the key to what I'm sharing is that the more you do anything, the more reps you put in, the more your energy shifts. Who are you being? I'm now recommitting to I'm still gonna be doing live events in 2024, but also I'm really committing to creating content, which I stopped for a while because I need to be Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, just go out and do live events. And then I did that for 2-3 months. I was like, this is a lot of energy. I'd rather do fewer live events next year, but have them be bigger and grow my audience more, grow my message more by creating content. Because I like creating content when I give myself permission to create content. So if you want to become this version of you, make the choice about who you are at the being level and watch how your reality begins to shift. Now, if you haven't already gotten the meditation that is for your level of consciousness, click the link below, calibrate your level of consciousness, and get a meditation for your level of consciousness, and watch how much your vibration begins to elevate. And then also, if you haven't done this meditation yet, it's one of my most popular meditations on shifting your dominant vibration permanently. Read the comments to see what's possible and do this meditation for 21 days. Watch how you shift.